Hey guys, it's Kat again. We're here Monday, 6 o'clock. We're so excited to be here. We have an amazing guest. I'm just gonna wait a few minutes for people to join before I bring our guest on. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Again, my name is Kat. I am the founder of Arcos Management. I am a talent manager in the New Jersey, New York area. And I'm so excited to be here today because we have an amazing guest. He's a talent agent from SLA Talent. I'm just going to wait. Again, thank you guys for joining. I'm going to wait for a few more people to join. Jonathan, if you want to share the live to your friends, that's what usually I do as well. Just to kind of share with everyone that we're live. So just give me a few. Thank you guys for being here. I'm so grateful. Today's going to be an amazing live. I could feel it. So I'm just going to go ahead and just invite my peeps. All right, Jonathan, I hope you're ready. I'm so excited. Again, guys, we have an actual talent agent from SLA Talent. I'm going to bring him on because I don't want to waste any time. Just want to get right to it. I'm sure he has a lot to go into. All right, Jonathan. Let's see. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining.
Hey, Kat,
Jonathan,
what is up?
how are you?
So good. How are things in New York?
Uh, it's a new normal, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yep.
We're adjusting. I live in New Jersey, so New Jersey just lifted the stay-at-home order
Oh, okay.
maybe Friday. So,
Uh-huh.
things are opening up, which is exciting and also
Awesome.
scary at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah. It's a
How's
crazy time.
LA?
It's good. I mean, a lot of craziness, a lot of good things going on. There's yeah, just a lot of different things happening and stuff. So, I'm excited for things to be opening back up and obviously with the marches and
Productions.
everything. You had production opening and new guidelines from the union coming out and everything. I've already seen an uptick on work and I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, same here, same here. I know there's going to be like health protocols that productions are going to have to follow.
Hmm.
That's something
Right.
that is, I know actors are like, excited to get back to work. And especially my clients, they're just like, what's going on? But so guys, thank you so much for joining. There is a question box below. I usually like to remind people, hey Chelsea Film Festival. We have the question box below, guys. If you want to ask questions, that's what we're here for. That's what Jonathan is here for. Um,
Yes.
but Jonathan, let's get right to it. So let's
Yeah.
start about you, how you got into talent, being a talent agent, how that all came about.
Yeah.
If you want to just let everyone know.
Yeah. So I was in the industry, I guess about 10 years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
doing visual effects, compositing work for Millennium Studios, adding the blood, the explosions, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool gig. It's fun going to the theater and seeing your work and everything up there, but you spend all day on the computer, and
Right.
so I knew that wasn't really for me. And so over the next 10 years or so, I jumped around to a couple different positions, was a director of sales for a couple companies, um, was more just in the business world as far as event planning, selling toys, and doing deals with some big box stores and things like that. And so then
Yeah.
when me and my wife moved out to LA, I knew I wanted to get back to the industry. So I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to debate, kind of think through, do I want to go on the distribution side, kind of use some of my business background and everything
Yeah.
for that. But my wife, who is an actor, I was talking things over with her, and I was like, well, I do like actors enough to marry one, so maybe this whole talent agent thing will work. So I
Yeah.
started doing the job, fell in love with it. I mean, being able to invest in people, help them achieve their dreams, really just use my skill sets to get to know them better, help them
Yeah.
strategize that whole deal, then open doors and get them the auditions that they're looking for. I mean, it was really just a neat experience discovering something that I absolutely love. So it's been
I
great.
love that.
Yeah,
I
I love
love
the
that.
agency I'm at. You know, it's a great agency. So it's just been a great journey so far, honestly.
Yeah. Would you say SLA is more kind of a boutique
Yes.
talent agency?
Yep. Yep. More of a boutique agency. You know, no matter what agency you're at, you kind of had every place has its pros and cons and stuff. And so, what I really do love about the owner and the agency is one, the autonomy they give us to really just be able to invest in our actors, and they really do care about their journey.
Right.
And so that really aligns to why I would even want to be a talent agent.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great agency. I work with great people, great environment. So it's been a lot of fun.
Love that. I love that. It's so amazing because that kind of
Yeah.
relates to how I started being a manager.
Yeah.
My partner is an actor as well.
Awesome.
And I literally helped him start his career. Like I put his resume, did the whole kind of works on it. And then
Right.
I was like, if I could do this for him, like I could do this for so many other clients,
Hmm.
especially in New York and New Jersey. I feel like that's something that I really wanted to push forward.
Yeah.
And our mission has always been to represent diverse talent. So
Hmm.
diverse clients from different backgrounds.
Right.
So
Right.
we
I
have
love
so
that.
much in common. That's
I
crazy.
know. I
I'm
know.
so excited. So we already have questions,
Oh,
which is
perfect.
amazing. So they're gonna
Cool.
pop up on your screen as well. We'll
All right.
start. NJ Miss 19. What is a boutique agency?
So it's a smaller agency, not like a big five or a big 10 type of agency. A lot of times their focus is more people who don't have either an established career and
Right.
or they are looking to take certain steps. They have some of the basics figured out and everything, but boutique is just a broad name for anyone who's outside of that top tier level of agency, and then how a boutique agency approaches their talent and who they're looking for and what they can do for them and everything like that differs across the board.
Would
So
you also say that you guys have like kind of a smaller roster of clients where you have more time to
yes,
actually, because that's a
yes,
plus. I love boutique
yes.
agencies because of that.
Right, absolutely, yeah. It's about the individuals. It's not just having a lot of people and just throwing them at a job or
Right.
anything like that. You know, it's really trying to be more strategic than that.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
what I
Great question.
love. I feel like as a manager, I always advise my clients, like, yeah, we want to go for big agencies and like, people with big names like let's think of like Abrams or,
Right,
one of those bigs. But you also have to understand they have a huge roster.
right,
And you're
right.
kind of also competing with those people on the roster to be able
Hmm.
to have them, submit you to casting calls and things like that. So
Yeah,
there's always
yeah,
pros and cons with that.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
that's a great question. Okay.
Hmm.
So, Witness Entertainment, we represent diversity in our film company. Would you recommend some of your talents to network? Hold on, let me see the whole question. To network with us when we go to California.
I mean,
Yes.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
we're always open to work and make sure that the jobs are right, partnerships. I mean, that's one of the things I love about this whole industry. It's a collaborative effort. There are
Right.
people who just dive into this crazy mad world, and it's hectic, and always people with different skill sets coming together and building relationships and trying to get different things accomplished. um, and so yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely shoot me a DM and we can connect and go from there. Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're so right. It's all about collaborative. I always think like, especially when you think of an artist who like an actor, actress with a
Right,
team, right? Like a
right.
manager, agent, they have that in place and we're
Yep.
all working together um, to make sure they're
Yep.
successful, make sure they're booking
Exactly.
gigs and things like
Yep.
that. So
Yep.
that's always
Absolutely.
the first thing on our minds.
Yep.
Do you represent actors from outside of your state?
So typically, no. I do. I have a few on my roster that are. Each person, each scenario is unique. We're dealing with people, right?
Right.
Projects and everything like that. As a standard, it's a no, like a typical thing for multiple reasons. One, just kind of um, like commercial auditions. I mean, they are so quick. It's you get a breakdown one day, auditions the next day, they're filming within 3 days. So as far as just logistical flights, everything like that, it's a little bit more difficult. For bigger projects from film, TV, that sort of thing, depending on your resume, depending on where you're at in your career, things can be worked out. I mean, due to COVID, even before COVID, and going forward, so much more is going to be self-tapes, and callbacks will be through Zoom and different things like that. So it really opens up the world a lot more from having to be in LA or Atlanta. But if you're just starting your career, if you don't have a huge resume and everything, I mean, chances are it wouldn't work out well, because it's better for you to be in an environment where you can be taking classes, where you can be networking, where you can be growing your career path and everything. So it's few and far between,
Right.
So
Yeah, and I think it's so important, especially for agencies, to have local talents,
yes.
just to be available. Like you said right now, auditions happen from like one day to the next sometime. And I've seen that, like, they'll be like, okay, can you come in tomorrow?
Right.
You have to, it would be really hard for a talent out of state to make that happen.
Right. Exactly.
Like catching a flight
Exactly.
right away.
Yeah. One of my actors who's in New York, the way it works is he works for an airline, and he's a little bit higher up and everything. So he just hops on a plane, able to get over there, that sort of thing. So
that works out. That's
yep.
Okay, perfect. So let me see. This is kind of the same question. Would you consider representing actors? Again, guys, case-to-case basis. Definitely something where you really need to be local. I do the same thing with my clients. And then sometimes I'll have perfect example, Alonzo and Andrew, which you represent.
I love them. Yeah.
They are amazing.
Yep.
And they originally started with us here, and they decided to move to LA, and that's why I reached out to you. I was like, these are amazing clients, like, something like that is my exception. Like, if you started with us and then we're kind of, you move to Atlanta, because a lot of people are moving to Atlanta as well.
Right.
So that's something that I as well do.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense.
Another question. Thank you guys for the question. Do you find it a hit or miss with some people who don't realize how much of a collaborative process our work is?
Yeah, no, that's great insight. So I'll kind of be long-winded with this answer, which kind of is my tendency anyways. But when it comes to an actor, when I look at their material and I'm looking at their headshots and their actor's access profile and their reel and everything, once I move past and see that they have a talent or they're at a standard where I feel like there could be something by us working together and partnering up, I then have a face-to-face meeting just so that I can get a sense of their personality, their mindset, where they're at as an individual. Well, that's one of the reasons. Another reason is, one, do they actually look like their headshots? I've been with people who, great headshots, great reel, everything like that, and then I went and met them and didn't look like that at all.
Catfish.
which is a big no-no because when casting looks at your picture and brings you in, they want you to look like your picture. And
Right.
so it's all about you getting in the right room for you to be able to succeed. So that's one of the things. But as far as going back to kind of the collaborative and the mindset and where you're at, I always look for optimistic people, people whose
Right.
verbiage and what they're wanting to do in life, it tends to be more optimistic simply because this is such an up and down journey for being an actor
Yeah.
specifically, that there will come a time where you're feeling low, you're not sure what you're going to do, and how you handle that, the low, the valleys, really impacts how we're going to work as a team. If you're looking
Right.
to blame other people, if you're looking to uh, have your success be um, someone else's responsibility, that's not going to work. We're not going to have a good relationship. I need people on my team who are optimistic, ready to ask questions like, what can I do differently? Is there a good way for us to come together? Here's what I'm doing. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yeah.
And it be more of a collaboration, but
Hmm.
from a mindset of things are going to get better. So again, long-winded, but that's my answer to that.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect because I really think that's so important. Like being positive, being optimistic. Those are just things that sometimes, it's a skill we need to have,
Yep.
especially actors, because they hear more no's than yes. To be
Right.
honest, like, if we're
Yeah.
being
Oh yeah.
transparent,
Yeah.
um,
With very little
they're gonna
feedback. I
be
mean, you don't get a callback. You have no idea, and now you're playing that mental game. Why did I not get called
right.
back? Was it something I did? I mean, it's so out of your control that how
Yep.
you deal with the mental aspect is something I look for. So,
Yep. It's so important. It's so important. And I always tell my clients, you're gonna receive a lot of no's, but once you reach that yes, that's
yep,
gonna make up for, every
yeah,
single no that you've ever
absolutely,
received.
yep, yep, yep,
Yeah, you can agree with me or not, but I think that not every role will be for every actor, to be honest. And
no, of course not, of
they're
course not,
looking for a specific something.
right,
Um, but as long
yeah,
as you
no, and
put
it's
your
it's not.
best
I
effort,
mean, it's just like, and this is one thing I kind of talk with my actors about. Like, at the end of the day, it's a business, and there's certain principles and practices that no matter what business or industry you're in, are going to help make you successful in that industry. Some of the basics: hard work, networking, putting
yeah,
yourself in, learning your craft. Just different basic things um, like that. But it's not always the most talented person who's going to get the role. It might have something
right.
else to do. Your network, who you know, that sort of thing. So many things outside of your control, who they cast as the other lead and how you
Yeah,
guys look, and so many things that are just
so many things.
make you not right for a role. But you just got to keep going out, going back to the mental thing. Obviously, that's a
Yep,
big thing for me. But like just understanding, okay, here's what I can learn. Here's what I did right in the room. Here's what I didn't. Here's what I can work on. Let's
yep.
go get it, kind of thing.
On
Yeah.
to the next. I would say
Yep.
on to the next. What's the next audition? What's the next callback?
Yep.
Let's.
Absolutely.
That's perfect. All right. Gabe Morales, what was the least amount experience of an actor you have represented, and what were the factors that got them represented?
Yeah. Great question.
Yeah.
So I took on a someone whose background was a model, and so they had an interest in acting, um, and I met with them and trying to get a feel for who they were and the vision and stuff like that. It was through another relationship that they said, this is their interest, can you at least talk to them? And so the important things for me was, one, they were successful in their modeling career. They were a go-getter. They were creating wins for themselves. Um, when we had the meeting, they had a list of questions. They were on time for the meeting. They were professional. They were telling me what classes they were in, what they were going to be in, and so it's just, so the short is, someone who's had no experience in the acting world. I ended up taking them on because of who they were as a person, and
Mm-hmm.
I knew that if they applied the work ethic they did that made them successful in the modeling world, to acting that they could have a level of success as well. So, yeah, I mean, all the way
That's
down to no experience.
yeah. And I'm sure right now, especially with film production companies, like starting up film production, like people, especially actors,
Yep.
have so many opportunities to like collaborate with filmmakers.
Right.
And that's something, is that something that you're also open to, like seeing, like if there's like a short film or something that kind of hit off really well that an actor was part
Yeah.
of and you thought he was great?
Yeah. So my roster goes anywhere from very few beginners, but all the way to people who are going out for some of the bigger roles and everything. And each actor is in their own journey, on their own journey of what they need to do.
Right.
Some people just need footage, real, show what your face looks like in different lighting. So you get out there. If you have no footage, get out on a short film, get out on a student
Yeah.
project, learn, what are you doing to better the portfolio so that I can have better materials to help sell you to casting, essentially. Casting's so inundated with people going after for single roles that part of my job is to paint the picture for them. Here's why Kat is perfect for the role. Here's the headshot, here's the footage, here's the note, here's why, here's her talent, here's the, and I'm painting a picture. And so the more information, the more materials you can give to your agent, manager, the easier it makes our job and the more successful we can be. So
So
big,
true. So
big
true.
proponent of short films, absolutely, and student films. If you need it, if you're well beyond, then we're going after
Go
different
for it.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
absolutely.
Um, let's see. Ann Bayer, when selecting theatrical HS, do you go by specific types or a more general look?
First, Anne is an amazing actress, so love
Shout out to
Anne.
Anne.
Yep, shout out to Anne. Um, so when it comes to headshots, it's always role specific. If you're talking about like what I'm selecting for the job and the role and all that stuff, I just read the breakdown, figure out what casting is trying to see. So I'll have my certain go-tos. Each casting director likes certain filters, certain looks. They have their own preferences. I mean, like, let's remember they're people too, who have their own opinions. And
Yeah.
in one of my roles and job requirements is to kind of know who I'm pitching to, what my audience is in the casting room so that I can select the right photographer and the look and everything.
Right.
What I tell my actors, one of the tools that I try to give them when they're looking at their headshots or their portfolio, there's this thing that's called an emotional wheel. I first learned about it when I was working in the education industry. But essentially, if you just Google emotional wheel, what comes up is like a color chart, and it breaks down different emotions like happy, sad, angry, whatever, just these generic emotions. And as you continue to go out, it breaks down those emotions into smaller slices. So instead of just happy, it's cheerful, joyous, and an actor can use this wheel and then look at their pictures and go, what emotions am I already telling? What's the story I'm telling that a casting director has seen? And they can get as specific as they want. It's
Nice.
not to have on your portfolio every emotion represented, but it is important to know what roles you're going after and what you're doing are you providing the right materials that lead you to those roles?
Right.
So you do that with your footage and everything too. So all that to say, when it comes to headshots, I like at the very least for someone to have 6 pictures on their profile,
Mm.
one smiling teeth, here's what I am, here's me all
Commercial.
beautiful and everything, one serious, just kind of basic stuff, and then 4 more very strategic pictures that are not necessarily charactery. I don't need you in scrubs or anything like that, but just bring to life roles and emotions of stories you want to tell. So
That's great. And that's
absolutely.
the first time. That's amazing. It's like mind blown. I think, yeah, it's definitely very important. And now that we're talking about this,
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate how
Yep.
important keeping your profiles on LA Casting, Actors Access up
Yes.
to date, right? Because
Yeah.
that's something that us as talent managers and agents, that's
Right.
our go-to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So it's the starting point.
Yep. Always keep your profiles updated, guys, especially with
Yep.
headshots. That's something that's so important. Let's see what else we got. Um, was it difficult to get connected to casting directors to get your clients gigs?
Difficult to get connected to casting director. Let me see if uh, I understand. So, this industry is all about relationships. Um,
Yeah.
so, using something like Actors Access, LA Casting, Casting Frontier is a first step into just connecting casting directors and actors to get, gigs and jobs and everything like that. And so, for me, that's a starting point, but then you kind of go from there to build relationships with the people on the other side of
Right.
casting. And so that is just how do you build relationships? Emails, phone calls, thank yous, always looking and seeing them as people. It's not just a means to an end or anything like that. It's just really trying to develop these relationships. And so, there's different casting directors who cast different things, whether it's just purely commercial, whether it's film, and so depending on the casting office and what projects they're doing, obviously some are more difficult, some have preferences where they want you to call, some say don't call, just email pitches, that sort of thing. And so it's definitely just about knowing who my audience is, right? And trying to keep them happy. And part of that is simply, all right, making sure that I'm pitching the right people for the right role. Because if they discover that I'm wasting their time, well, they won't come back to my roster. And so I got to protect my talent that's on my roster. I don't want to put someone in the wrong room where they'll write off other actors simply because they're on the SLA talent stuff. And so it's all just being strategic and knowing who the audience is. And I don't know. Yeah.
Relationships.
These
You
relationships.
said
So,
it.
yep.
Relationships. That is the industry right now.
Yep.
That's networking, relation. Like that is
Yep.
what we do
Yep.
on a
Yep.
daily basis.
Yep.
So it's always I appreciate that from you because, like I said, you don't want to waste anyone's time.
Right.
And so we want to, as managers and agents, we want to make sure we're putting the best actor in that spotlight for that role.
Right. Right. Another thing I tell my actors is casting directors, there's two things that they're also looking for. Now, obviously, we're dealing with people, so they all have their own opinions on different things and everything. But the first is they're on the risk management side of the industry. They only have so much time in the day, so much energy, so much things that they can invest. So I want to help them in eliminating risk. So simply, okay, not putting the person in the room, waste their time. That's bad. Also, they have clients that they want to please. It's not just their job is not necessarily to find the best talent for the role. It's to make sure that they're pleasing their customer, the project. And so, a lot of times actors they love the craft, they love the art, they love growing and telling stories, and that's why I love actors so much. But and the ones who take that next step tend to find the business side of it all as well, and trying to think, okay, how can I leverage who I am, the way I look, my network of people, my relationships, and thinking business terms as well. So,
yeah, so true. I was on a live last week with the casting director, and they were just saying how casting directors are on the actor side when they're in the room. You know how actors are just like so nervous and they're just like, they get all worked up and they're just like, we're here, we're advocates for you at the end of the day.
They want you to do well.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes them look good at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a domino effect.
So good. That's so good. Yep.
She was amazing. If you could, what aspect of your job would you make easier? That's a good one.
What would I make easier? Um, Shoot, I don't know. There's so much I like about my job.
That's good.
What do I want to make easier? Probably, I don't know, man. That's a good question.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Um,
What would you
'Cause,
say is the hardest part of being a talent agent?
just the amount of work that's out there.
A lot
There's
of
just
it.
so many opportunities out there, and I love an actor who has, you know, a talent agent and a manager, and it's a cohesive team where the manager is able to help more on an intimate basis, help them grow, talk strategy more so. Obviously, that
Yeah.
makes me frees up my time to be able to hopefully pitch and build those relationships and everything. So balancing my time between developing an actor and simply using who I have and getting them into the rooms where they're at.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish something that I would love that would be easier is when I have an actor who has the talent and the look and everything to be in a bigger room, yet aren't getting in there because their resume's not full or anything like that. I
Yeah.
think just sometimes I hate that. It's like, man, if they could get into this room, I feel like they'd be perfect in this opportunity. But there's
Yeah.
certain times where unless if you check all these boxes of taking these classes and things, you're not going to be seen. So I just want more opportunities for my people. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Same here. I mean, more opportunities. Again, like we said before, like it's just there's so many boxes that we need to check for
yeah,
actors to get in those
yeah,
rooms.
yeah,
Like it's so tough, and you're right. We
yeah.
more opportunities, more um, gigs for everyone that we
Right.
can just get them there.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. Let's see. We got a lot of questions, Jonathan.
Woohoo!
Amanda, is this your wife?
That's my wife,
Hi,
Amanda
wifey.
Joy Erickson. She's amazing.
I
Everyone follow
love
her.
it. Hi, Amanda. What do
When do
you
you?
when do
Okay,
you know it's not working with the client, and how do you make the decision to drop or cut? That's a great question.
it's a great question. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
let's start with, each person is different. There have been times where I go, man, I feel like your talent. I guess let me take a step back. Just because me and the talent part ways, it does not necessarily mean I don't believe in that person. Sometimes relationships aren't just right for whatever reason.
Mhm.
So I've had actors who I believe in, they're talented, we strategize, but for whatever reason, I and we have not been able to elevate their career to the level that I think we should be at. And so
Right.
sometimes I just simply just say, hey, look, I believe in you, keep at this. It's just not working. So let's just part ways. It'll be best for both of us in the long run. There are other more easy, those are the hard ones because
Yeah,
it's
I
like, it's
know.
not a loss, but I also don't want to waste anybody's time if there's a better fit for them out there.
Yeah.
The easy ones are the ones who miss auditions, the ones who get these opportunities and blow it, who aren't professional, who
Right.
don't represent themselves, the agency, me, well in the room. Um, I've had casting directors call me to just say, hey, just FYI, this actor, whatever, didn't have the lines memorized when we
Yeah.
specifically said breakdown. We want it memorized. Uh, or they went in here and blamed this on you kind of thing. Like there's certain things where it's real easy to just kind of draw people, just like this is a career, this is a business. You're trying to make
Yeah.
something out of this. So treat it like a business. So it just depends. Great question. Great question, Amanda.
Uh, Amazing question. She got you, huh?
Uh,
That was an amazing, and I think just to piggyback, I think at
yeah,
the end of the day, when an agent, when a manager decides to represent you, it is a
Mm-hmm.
business. It is your
Yep.
job as an actor to make them look good and make
Yep.
them, keep wanting to send you to more auditions and callbacks. Because at the end of the day, we're also on your team, but we also
Yep.
have to, it's a two-way street. We
Yep.
have to make sure you look good. You have to make sure
Yeah.
we look good.
I do want to add something kind of that got my brain going.
Yeah.
Another, it's not necessarily a pet peeve, but I just would just add to actors just kind of to always be thinking, don't necessarily, just because you don't relate to a role very well, don't just disregard it, because there's so many benefits that come from doing an audition, whether it's a taped audition
Yeah.
or an in-person audition. Get in front of casting. Let them know who you are. Just because you audition doesn't mean you're going to be offered the role,
Right.
but just be someone who shows up and explores. And then if the time comes and it's not a good fit, okay, we can talk about if you need to be doing this or not. But I'm never just like, woohoo, when someone gets an audition, they're like, no, I don't fit it. It's too short-sighted for me.
Yes,
So,
I agree. I agree.
yeah,
Because there's a reason why they're calling the actor. There's a reason why you're
right.
getting an audition. There's something that they're seeing that
Yep,
that will work.
yep,
So
absolutely.
definitely don't give up those opportunities, guys.
Yep,
Anytime you get an audition, go there. Give it your
right.
A+ game and do what you need to do. Be memorable, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is the one thing,
absolutely.
like, if you are memorable in the room and casting directors, reach out to you as a talent agent, or even like when they call me, they're like, wow, he was amazing. He
Yeah,
didn't get the role, but we would love to, keep him in mind for something else that comes
yeah.
up. That's
So
when
many
it's
of my
all
actors
worth
have
it.
booked, yeah, so many of my actors have booked other gigs simply from showing up,
Yeah,
and they're like, hey, I love you. I'm casting this other project, and I want you to read. And so that actually
it
happened
happens more than
over the
often.
weekend. So, yeah.
Yeah, so do not, guys. Um, okay, let's see. How did you start getting into representing actors, and why did you go that route? Kind of mentioned
Yeah,
it in the beginning, but
yeah. I can quickly, or try
yeah.
to quickly cover it. Um, I was in the industry 10 plus years ago doing visual effects. When I came back out to LA, or when I came out to LA, I wanted to get back in the industry. Was either going to go the distribution route, or when talking with my wife, who's an actor, I was like, man, I do love actors. Let's see if there's something here. And so I interviewed and was like, let me just try. And got the job, and it was just fell in love with it, honestly. So when I started at the agency, I'd just taken over um, two previous agents' clients, and so
Amy,
there
right?
was, yeah, Amy was one of them, and
Yeah,
Jamal, yeah, yeah.
she's awesome.
So I took over some actors and went through that whole process. And it just is such a fulfilling thing for me to when an actor books something and the joy and elation that they get out of it. It just, whatever, it makes me happy. So I'm like,
The
all right, I
best
can get
feeling
used to this.
ever.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So,
That's
but
awesome. I think 100%. Like, I think a lot of people always ask me, like, why did you become a manager? Like,
yeah.
because I went to school for something not different, but I went to school for communications. And
Oh,
then I
awesome.
minored in business, and then I went back to school for my MBA,
Yeah,
which, eventually I wanted to start my own business, but God has a funny
yeah.
way to start things up.
Well,
Like, never in my
right,
mind would I be, thinking I was going to be a talent manager.
right.
But like, once it happens, you're just like, this is what I was meant
Yeah,
to do.
right.
Like,
Exactly.
it's a magical way of working itself out. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like, I love seeing your passion as an agent,
Mm.
because to be honest, like, there aren't too many agents that are kind of more vocalized or more like collaborative. A lot of them are kind of sometimes very standoffish. To be
Right,
honest,
right.
like, a lot of that I've encountered.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
at
You'll
the end
find
of the
that
day, we're a
in
team.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, Let me ask you, what do you look for in talent and for clients and like that? What's kind of your mental checklist, or tell me about your process?
For me as a manager, my biggest joy comes from developing a talent. To be honest, I love non-experienced actors
Yeah,
because I get to kind of see such a big progress from them. Like
yeah,
they have to obviously have talent. They have to have, that self-determination that they really want to do this. So just kind of
right,
making
right.
sure like this is the path that you want to go, because it can go 0 to 100, right? Like you could just
Yeah,
not have anything, and then we fixed up your resume, we took your headshots, we sent you to get your
mhm,
headshots done, and now you're like literally a working actor, and you're
yeah,
booking gigs and things like that. So my thing is always, definitely talent. Like they have to have
mhm,
talent. And even if they don't have a demo reel, I am a bit flexible with that, because I can just have them send me a monologue, or my partner
right.
has his own production company, that's the
So,
Witness Entertainment, and he
yeah,
does short films, and he does low budget films where I can get my actors to work with him and get that experience.
yeah,
So
that's
it
awesome.
all comes full circle at the end of the day, and I love,
Yeah,
I just love seeing actors do what they love. Like I think actors have like this amazing vulnerability
hmm,
where they kind of are not scared to
right.
play these different characters, and kind of just like, I don't know, the choices that they make sometimes, I'm like, wow, like
Yeah,
mind blown, like
yeah, yeah. No,
but
that's why I have, yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm so not that way. I don't have that
me
ability, and that's
too.
why I have to have things like the emotional wheel and business practices and stuff to be able to communicate between this whole business and this thing these people can bring to life just words on a page. So it's amazing.
Yeah,
So,
and it's just amazing, like you said, like it's amazing to actually be the person to help these actors
mhm.
get gigs,
Yep,
'cause,
yep,
I was born and raised in Jersey City.
cool.
It's kind of neighbors to New York. So my mission with the whole company was I wanted to represent diverse talent, because I'm Ecuadorian and Peruvian. Um, and there's a lot of Hispanics in this area that,
Right.
once I started opening, when I opened Arcos Management, I started realizing how much talent there was, but there
Yeah.
wasn't enough representation for them. Like they didn't
Uh,
know what the next steps were. And that's what, like, where I come in,
right.
and I'm all right, this is what you need to do. We
Yeah.
need to get your resume, we need to get your headshot, we need to like get you some experience, so that you guys, so I can present you to agents and casting directors. So
Right.
that's what
Right.
I do.
Yeah.
I love
That's
doing
great.
that.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
my
cool.
biggest passion.
Yeah.
But let me see. There was a question in here. Hold on one second. Guys, remember there's a question box, but I did see a question in here. I don't want to miss it. Hold on one second. All right, I got another question. Carrie, do you have a local photographer you prefer talent to shoot with?
Great question.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Hi, Carrie. It's good to hear from you. Um, she worked with my wife down in Texas.
Ooh.
So it depends on the uh, um, the vision. Okay, we always start with strategy. Where's the actor at?
Yeah.
What are they trying to accomplish? Are they going theatrical, commercial, and stuff? David Moeller, love him. I actually have a list of photographers. Joanna DeGeneres, she's phenomenal. Um, for lifestyle type things, Johnny Marlowe, Andrew Arceri, uh, Andrew, yeah, he's a great photographer. So there's just, yeah, I mean, those are probably some. It just
A lot.
depends on what we're going for. So, but definitely check those people out.
Yeah. Would you say, now that we're talking about headshots, would you
Uh-huh.
say, because
You pull up.
I'm, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Headshots. So there's
Uh-huh.
different styles to
Yep.
headshots, which
Yep.
in New York, very kind of studio shots, a lot more dramatic side. But now, with Andrew and Alonzo over there, they've
Yep.
informed me of all this, they're kind of mind blown because they're like, they want personality. And I'm like,
Right.
you guys have it. Like,
Yeah.
like you already know, Andrew is such a comedian. He
Yep.
lights up a room when
I
he
love
walks
Andrew.
in,
Right. Yep.
and love him to death. But he told me when he was here in New York, he was like, more on the dramatic side, because that is what that's what's big here. We have, younger, we have, all these different
Right.
kind of serious shows happening here.
Yep.
But yeah, in LA, what would you say is the difference in personality, I guess, with headshots?
So the main difference, and especially going forward after COVID and everything,
Yeah.
casting directors is an awesome opportunity because casting is going to be able to see a lot more people request a lot more auditions because it's going to be online and self-tape and everything. And so one of the key things, casting's only going to look at your profile 5 seconds maybe, right? Before they just go, okay, make a decision, let me do this.
Yeah.
And so being able to tell the story of what role you're going after is key. Telling the emotion in your eyes, your look, just sell it in and of itself. So there are casting offices who will say, I love this photographer, and you can take a picture with him, and then another casting office absolutely hates the look. It's too satirized, it's too, whatever, or it's not satirized enough, there's not enough life. And so the thing about LA is the more variety, the better, because it's my job to know who my audience is with casting. And so when I look at someone's profile, I look, okay, where are we at? What style do we have as far as do we have the picture that's going to pop off the screen? Do we have one that's just more muted? And then depending on what we do or don't have, I then send them to the photographer that'll give them materials, basically. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's all different, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, next question. Camille. Jonathan, what do you look for most beyond talent among actors?
Great question.
I love these questions.
Work ethic. Work ethic is key. What are you doing by yourself? What opportunities have you created? What does your portfolio look like? How do you present yourself in email form with your pitches and stuff? What's the sense I get? I mean, casting and meeting people and everything is such a feeling type of thing. How do you present yourself when you walk into the casting room? Same thing for me. Are you misspelling my name? Is there tons of typos? Is it where are you at as far as how you handle your business? And if you're not handling your business correctly, why am I going to get involved in that, right? Okay. So first would be, work ethic. Second would be attitude. Going back to the optimistic, I want you to be hopeful for the low times. Be ready, to pick yourself back up and believe that things are going to happen. Speak it into existence, that type of thing. So, but it's good to be talented as well.
Yeah, of course. We need that talent. No, I think that's 100% like hunger. Like here we say hunger because we're from New York. We're hungry, right?
Yeah.
We're just like, when I see an actor that is like, reaching out to me, hey, what can I do better? Hey, what, like, what do you think with headshots? Like, what are some different looks? Like, just be hungry for that next opportunity and because, like I said, we're on their side. We're on your team. This is literally a team effort work that we do. And at the end of the day, like, I always say I cannot do everything. I cannot update your profile. I cannot update your headshots. Like, I can only advise you to do that. But it's your job to do it, right? To have that work ethic, to go for it, to just sometimes take risks sometimes, right? It is a business. I say every actor is their own brand. You are your own brand on your own business.
Right, exactly. And that is another one of my pet peeves, or it's just even just telling on who the person is. Like,
Yeah.
I only have so much time in my day, and so if I'm going
Right.
to invest it into saying, okay, here's what I think you need to do or whatever, it's not an absolute rule, but if you do nothing, I'm not going to invest more into this career or whatever, just because what's the point if you're not taking my opinion and advice and being proactive with it, then
Seriously.
you know.
We're not
So
gonna get anywhere. We're
yeah,
gonna be at a standstill, and it's just,
yeah,
we want progress. We want
yep,
progress for
yep,
actors.
yep.
Uh, Leah, what is the best way to contact you and keep in touch should you book or have anything coming up?
Um, should you book just as far as looking for more clients or talent, you think?
What
Um,
is the best way to contact you and keep in touch should you book? I guess like if you have any gigs that you can book actors.
so, um, I mean, when opportunities come across my desk, obviously I first and foremost look to my roster.
Yeah.
Um, as far as just opportunities, and then depending on if it's I don't have the right fit or I know what they're trying to do, I just reach out to some of my other relationships, and we try to figure out, a solution for casting
Yeah.
essentially. As far as bringing new talent on my roster, feel free to shoot me a DM, and I can give my email. I get so many people, of course, pitching themselves and stuff. And so usually, so I'll at least look it over if it's not a right fit for many, many reasons. And it can be as simple as I don't like creating too much competition on my own roster.
Yeah.
I believe in my people. I believe in who I have. And if I have 10 people who fit the same specs, well, I don't have the right person. But I can look and see if it'd be a good fit, a good partnership, and then if so, I move forward. If not, I then just have to move on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that we have to look out for what's best for our roster first. The
yep,
people that we represent, make sure that they are getting the opportunities, especially if they're
right,
signed with us. That's our job.
yep,
But definitely, I think networking is key. Just,
mm,
I think, to be honest, this whole
yep,
COVID situation has made social media such a easier way to communicate with people, especially
right,
people in places like casting directors, talent agents, talent managers.
hmm,
Because at the end of the day, we need actors to
yeah,
submit to these roles, right?
yeah,
So we're
yeah,
always looking. Like I always say, I am all year looking for new talent. I don't have like a specific kind of time frame. I'm just like, if it comes and I like love your look, I can see potential, we can work together.
yep,
Attitude is key. Um, let's get to
absolutely,
work, right?
yeah, yeah,
Let's get to
yeah.
work. These amazing questions. Oh goodness. Thanks for having me. What is a pet peeve of yours when it comes to reels? Oh, that's a good question.
Hi Stephanie, glad you're on.
Hi,
That's one
Stephanie.
of my actors, Stephanie Rojo. Um, so, just one of my pet peeves is when an actor doesn't have their strongest material at the beginning. That's the hook, you know,
Yeah.
tell a casting director why they should keep watching.
Mhm.
So, I like just something that pulls an audience in. So, yep,
Yep. Get right to it.
yep.
All right. We're going to speed through these questions because we have about 5 minutes. What social
Okay.
media or website is preferred by casting?
As a general rule, Actors Access tends to be more theatrical.
Yeah.
Uh, type of projects. About 80% of the projects Actors Access. LA Casting's more about 60% commercials type deal, 40% music videos and other projects. Casting Frontier is mainly commercials, like 90% commercials. So depending on what your goal is, what you're trying to do, make sure you have a profile on all three. All three
Yeah.
are strong, but also know what kind of projects you're going after, depending on which site.
Yep. Do you only represent actors, or are you open to represent all kind of talent? I'm guessing like modeling, theatrical.
Yeah, I do have social media influencers and models. But as far as like directors, producers, writers, I don't at this point, and it's mainly because I don't want to enter into a partnership with somebody if I don't feel like I can elevate their game. And my relationships and everything tend to be more movies, TV shows, commercials. So
Awesome. Have you ever experienced working with a great talent but bad attitude? What did you do?
yeah, no, great question. So in this whole industry, it's just like, is it worth the investment? Is it how much are you going to tolerate? It doesn't
Yeah,
matter if they're booking roles, if they're uh, making things happen, and just they have the occasional bad attitude and stuff like that. I mean, we're all people who have bad days, and for just someone having a bad attitude and cutting ties is very short-sighted.
yeah,
Um, so it just depends on the individual, but somebody who has no experience, no bookings, not anything happening, and yet feels entitled to life itself,
yeah,
me and them aren't going to work well together. So we'll part ways.
yeah. So I totally agree with that. This is
Hmm.
our last question. Do you suggest your manager and agent to be connected and on the same page? We could both answer this, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the short is yes. Absolutely. We're all a team trying to accomplish the same goals. So the better the relationship, the better the results typically. So I'm all for
Yeah.
it. I love it.
100%. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but a manager does make an agent's job a little easier when it comes to
Yes,
a lot easier when it
a
comes
lot
to
easier. Yeah,
having a full package all ready to go, ready for you to represent and to start submitting to gigs.
right.
100%, guys. Manager and
Yeah,
agent, again, we work together for the actor, for the artist that we're representing, and it's a dream team. To be honest,
absolutely.
if we're all on the same page, we're gonna make stuff happen. So that's
Yeah,
definitely what managers are and agents are here for. That's
right.
a number one thing.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna say, hold on, let me just make sure we don't have any questions, guys. Thank you so much for the questions. This is
Yes, thank you.
amazing. But Jonathan, I usually like to end off, thank you so much, first of all, for this live. It was
Thank
amazing.
you.
I
You're
enjoy
welcome.
working with you.
Hmm.
I can't wait to see what Andrew and Alonzo and any other of our talents that we work with together have
Right.
in store, because I know something is coming soon.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but I usually just kind of leave it on a motivational note. As
Yeah.
you as an agent, there's a lot of actors on here, especially that kind of just want to be motivated
Yeah.
by people in the industry. I mean,
Right. Right.
so you could
I
go for
mean,
it.
okay. I mean, always start with what motivates you as an individual. Find why you love doing what you're doing, and then always lean into that during the hard times. As an actor, there's only so many things you can control. So be excellent at those things. Know
Yeah,
your craft, know the industry, build your portfolio, be in classes, grow your network, and if you can just focus on what you can control and impact, that's the recipe for success, no matter what industry you're in. But just keep at it and find out why you love it and keep going. That's my simple advice.
yeah. I always say, just do it. Just do it,
Yeah.
guys. Don't be scared. Take risks. Put yourself out there. Like I
Hmm.
said, if you get a no, that is only gonna lead you to a yes down the line.
Yep.
I always tell them, be your best, especially when you're in those rooms, in those
Yes.
audition rooms. I think right now we're at an age and a new normal where, everything's like gonna be self-tape, virtual callbacks. So it doesn't
Yep.
matter where you are, and people just have all your material together. I can't stress that enough.
Right.
Have your material
Yeah.
updated. I think it's
Yeah.
like so important to do that. I mean, again, you
Yep.
guys are your own business, your own brand as an actor or actress, and we're here to help you guys. To be honest, We're here to
Yep.
help you reach that breakthrough role, that success. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
really much. Jonathan, thank you, thank you, thank you. This
No,
was an
thank you,
amazing
Kat.
live. This wasn't your first live, right?
This is my first live. Yep. Yep.
Stop
This is it.
it.
So this is it. So thank you for
Oh,
putting this on, Kat, and having me and inviting me. I love what you're doing. I love the information and the help that you're offering to people and stuff. You're doing a great thing. So
thank you so
really
much.
appreciate you.
It's
So
gonna. Thank you so much, Jonathan. We're gonna keep in touch as always.
yep,
But thank you guys for watching. Jonathan, say hello to your wife. Be
I will.
safe.